We aren't aware of a lot of things when concerning Star Wars Episode 8, but we do have some indication for the film with the way The Force Awakens left off, and where we last saw the characters in that film. In this video, I would like to portray to you the top 6 moments in Star Wars Episode 8 that I am most looking forward to seeing, and the things that I hope are touched on and need to be addressed over the course of the film. I think the inclusion of all these things I have picked are likely, but keep in mind we haven't seen the film yet, and unfortunately might not get some of the things that I mention here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin with top 6 moments I want to see in Star Wars Episode 8. Number 6. The death of Han Solo addressed and impact on the galaxy. The death of Han Solo is a big deal in The Force Awakens, and it should continue to be one in Episode 8. Han was a war hero and rebellion leader, and the death of him should serve as a big wake-up call to the Resistance that the First Order and Kylo Ren are a very serious and powerful threat, and even though they destroyed the Starkiller base, they suffered some major losses as well. I also want to see how Han's death has impacted Luke. It is almost a certainty he felt the ripple of his death through the Force, but we don't know how he feels about it, and maybe even more importantly now, how he feels about his nephew. Does Luke still hold hope for Kylo, or was it destroyed along with Han Solo? Number 5, the answer to Rey's parentage. I think the answer for Rey's parentage will be one that is revealed over the course of Episode 8, and by far one of the biggest questions fans of the franchise have had after Episode 7. The logic here is that similar to Empire, Episode 8 will be the second film in this trilogy, and thus grant us the reveal of the parentage of our lead. Not only is this a question the fans want answered, but it is also one the filmmakers are constantly discussing and teasing. This question is one I think we will receive the answer to in the next movie, and I hope it's significant not only to Rey and possibly other characters we know, but also the franchise as a collective. Number 4. Rey's training under Luke Skywalker. Rey's training under Luke Skywalker is one that I think will be quite unconventional and memorable. In Empire Strikes Back, Yoda actually trained Luke much harsher than he had other Jedi Padawans of the past. This was because under the old Jedi way, the Sith were able to secretly hide and prosper, and Yoda saw the error of the old way of teaching and thus tweaked it. Yoda showed Luke the darkness and had it confront him head on, exposing him to the horrors of the dark side. This was an action not practiced under the old Jedi way, and they were taught to hide their inner darkness rather than confront it outright. This is something that should definitely carry over with Rey and Luke. I assume since Yoda taught Luke this way, he would also try and train Rey the way he learned as well. This is also a time of war and hardship, quite similar to the period in which Luke trained with Yoda, again in Empire Strikes Back. It is something that should be different as well, and display some impressive and mind-blowing feats on behalf of Luke Skywalker. The training should not only be a time to explore Luke, but also Rey and her deep inner fears and darkness, and maybe even convey how Luke feels about taking on the responsibility of another apprentice. Number 3, Kylo Ren vs. Rey rematch. A rematch between Kylo Ren and Rey is extremely important. After the Force Awakens finale, even though the duel between Kylo Ren and Rey was a highly circumstantial one, many fans were upset with Kylo's performance. It will be interesting to see both of their progression as duelists and Force users under different teachers and under different parts of the Force. I would love to see a fast-paced, violent confrontation between the two of them that allows the characters and the audience to experience the true extent of their now more honed and refined abilities. This would also go as to further the relationship between hero and villain of our new trilogy. I want to say this here, I think it is important that Kylo ultimately wins the duel and shows Rey the power of the dark side. Kylo needs to be portrayed as a real viable threat and very dangerous person. It would also be a mistake to have your main villain of a trilogy lose 2 films in a row. Number 2. Discover who Luke Skywalker is. This is another really big question that is brought up by the filmmakers very often. As of now, we really don't have any indication who Luke has become or how he feels about the current tumultuous state of the galaxy. We need to learn why he left his friends and what he has done while on Ahch-To. As I said earlier, I also want to know how he feels about losing Han, and if he still holds out faith for Kylo, like he did for his father so many years ago. I also really want to learn if Luke has remained an agent of the light completely, or if he has faltered at all in his beliefs. The only indication from Luke we've gotten at all is that Mark Hamill on the Force Awakens special features said he was conflicted, and although we may have some really good guesses as to what about, we still need to learn that as well. What growth did Luke go through after Return of the Jedi, and now does he truly feel there's no hope and no longer wishes to involve himself with the quarrels of the galaxy? Basically, we need to discover how Luke feels and who he is. Number 1. To witness, hopefully for the first time, Darkside training and Snoke teaching Kylo Ren the ways of the dark side. This is something I have always wanted to see in a film and could account for the new thing Rian Johnson's script has promised us. The section in the Darth Bane books concerning Darth Bane's training in the Sith Academy were some of my favorite parts, and I hope to see something similar. I would like to see Snoke craft Kylo into a truly evil and bloodthirsty Darkside commander. We have only briefly before in other media seen training of individuals in the Darkside, like Savage Opress in the Clone Wars TV show, and various novels depicting training in darker aspects of the Force. But as of currently, we have not seen it in a film. I think this Darkside training would translate very well to film and could add a really cool and interesting dynamic to the Star Wars universe that we haven't seen with live action before. I would also be curious to find out if Snoke will somewhat expose Kylo to the light, as a large reason Snoke chose Kylo as an apprentice was due to him having great magnitude and strength with both the light and dark side of the Force. There are so many opportunities here for great and interesting sequences, and the way Snoke will proceed in teaching Kylo is an intriguing question we will eventually hopefully receive an answer for. So those were my top 5 most anticipated moments for Star Wars Episode 8. Be sure to tell me yours down below, and what do you think the biggest question left unanswered still is? Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.